Hi, my name is Aaron Bakash, and I am a master's level intern here at Mayfield Counseling Center. And I want to take a few minutes to talk about how you can use your morning cup of coffee as a vehicle for mindfulness and gratitude. There's kind of a couple different ways we can look at this, but before we get into the actual brewing process, I want to talk about how coffee can be a way for us to be connected to a global community and how it can kind of start our day reminding us that we're part of a broader community. So coffee is grown, typically most coffee that we drink in America is from either Central America or Africa. And this particular coffee we're gonna be drinking and brewing today is from Burundi, which is a small country in Africa. And it's actually one of the poorest countries in the world. And something that's pretty special about drinking coffee from Burundi is it is one of the main sources of income that this country is using to kind of rebuild their country and have kind of a sense of connection to the rest of the world. So in that one sense, each coffee, typically when you get it from a shop, it's gonna have the name of a country and then the name of the town that it's from. And so this would be true for that too. So as I'm drinking this coffee, I'm reminded that I am buying from a small family farm that is processing this coffee and growing it in the land that they grew up in. And it is an opportunity for me to remember that I am part of a bigger community than just myself. So for a lot of us, mindfulness can feel a little bit overwhelming and almost something that is kind of outside of our regular life. And what I love about coffee is it is a super entry-level, easy way for us to just integrate mindfulness into our morning cup of coffee. Now, zooming into the actual coffee brewing and drinking experience, something I think we're all very aware of in the morning every day. This is a really great way to zoom into ourselves and kind of focus on a mindfulness practice in our morning rituals and routines. So when I'm brewing coffee this specific way, there's a lot of things that I'm gonna be seeing, smelling, and experiencing as the coffee is being made. So what we do with this Chemex, if you've never seen one before, is we're just gonna pour water over the top of the dry grounds of coffee. And what's gonna happen is you're gonna start to see a change in color. It's gonna become lighter, and then you're gonna see bubbles coming up. And that's when you're gonna wanna kind of smell your coffee, and that's gonna be the first time you're gonna really experience that smell. When the bubbles are coming through, that is basically the coffee's way of letting out the gases that do not produce a taste that you want, and it's a way for you to experience a more clarified cup. So when the bloom is happening, I'm gonna be smelling the coffee, and I'm gonna be watching to make sure that it is coming down the way that it's supposed to. So you're gonna be hearing the coffee brewing and you're gonna be smelling these awesome and delicious flavors. And something that, as I've gotten more into breathing and mindfulness, what I've realized is as I'm slowly having this coffee being made for me in the morning, I'm starting my day with this breathing exercise, with these slow and even breaths. And that's a really great way to start the day in a relaxed, centered, and clarified place. And so that is gonna be a part of what's happening when I'm starting with the coffee. And then again, it's gonna be just a few minutes of pouring water over the coffee and smelling it and seeing how it's changing and hearing how it's kind of coming along. So not everybody is going to have such an involved brewing process, and I understand that. Those are some of the ways that I really experience mindfulness, and I kind of do the smells, kind of almost the anticipation of what this cup of coffee is gonna be like. But this part, this brewed cup of coffee, this is gonna be a place where everybody can experience mindfulness and kind of a present moment experience with their coffee. Something that's really special about coffee is when it is first given to you, when it is piping hot, straight from whether you get it from the drive-through, your Keurig, or you do a little bit more of a manual brew process. When coffee is at its hottest, you're gonna be able to pick up a lot of smells. So you're gonna really be able to sense where the coffee is from and kind of experience that. But what's gonna happen is the next 10 or 15 minutes as the coffee cools, you're gonna have a completely different flavor experience from when you first take a sip to when you're finishing up your cup, and it's kind of almost getting to that lukewarm place. And the reason that is the less hot this is, the more your taste buds are gonna be able to pick up those smells. So I think everybody experiences that. You have your first sip, and it's this one experience, and then you can just take the next 10 or 15 minutes to really sit and experience, what am I tasting right now? What am I smelling? How is it different than it was a minute ago? And for me, that is my favorite part, is being able to sit, have this brewed cup of coffee, I stumble out of bed, and then now I'm sitting here and I'm just sitting, slowly breathing and just sipping. And so again, if mindfulness is something that feels a little bit challenging for you, or maybe not something that you have as a part of your daily life, Introduce it to your coffee morning routine. Maybe you're driving to work and you have a 10-minute commute between the coffee shop and your office. That's a perfect 10 minutes to just take some slow sips and enjoy what you're drinking. Or maybe you're an early morning person that has a whole morning ritual. I would encourage you and invite you to experience mindfulness as you're doing what is, for most of us, a daily ritual and process. Really, all of the things that are happening in your coffee drinking experience is an exercise in mindfulness. And what we want to do is just add a level of presence and experience to that. So if I'm sitting here and I'm just having some slow, controlled breathing, I'm going to take a sip and I'm just going to sit and I'm going to ask myself, what am I tasting? What does the temperature of the coffee feel like? What has my experience been like from when I was brewing the coffee or picking it up at the shop to what I'm feeling right now? And so mindfulness, again, it's this opportunity to just be still and be present and be experiencing this present moment. And for a lot of us, coffee is one of our favorite parts in the morning. And that's what I love about this experience for me, is it's a really easy and natural way to introduce the idea of mindfulness and presence to something that you are likely going to be doing 7 days a week already.